My boyfriend invited me to his dead wife's birthday party. My boyfriend and I have been dating for about a year. He is a widower with 3 kids. I sensed Tony, my boyfriend, was still very attached to his late wife, Laura, and our relationship took a backseat. It became clear after 6 months, but I bit my tongue. When Laura's birthday arrived, I decided to speak up. Tony invited me, his family, and former in-laws. I joined, unaware of how awkward it would be. The house was filled with Laura's favorite things: purple decor, her beloved food, snacks, and music. An empty chair at the head of the table held a large photo of Laura, making it feel like she was still with us. After dinner, they all gathered around the table to share fond memories of Laura. It went on and on as each person praised her. There were several comments about Laura being
one of a kind, second to none,
and
irreplaceable
by Tony. They all sang happy birthday to Laura as they gathered around the cake. Then, they went outside to release balloons, sending their birthday wishes to her in heaven. I felt humiliated and small. I left and cried all night. All I could think about was how much I cared for Tony and how much love he held for another woman. It stung knowing he'd never loved me as intensely. The next morning, Tony called, saying the party was great and he was glad I could make it. But his words made me feel like just another guest, not the woman he was in a relationship with. He invited me for dinner after work. I agreed but realized it was time to discuss him moving on from Laura and focusing on our relationship. When I arrived at his messy house, he apologized for not having food and suggested we clean up the party mess and reheat leftovers later. Inwardly, I was fuming. Once again, I was getting someone's leftovers and I was sick to death of it. I seethed silently as I cleaned up. Finally, when I sat with Tony, he hardly helped, leaving me to do most of the cleaning. After a long day of work, I was exhausted, angry, hungry, and on the verge of exploding.
Kath, if you don't mind, why don't you throw some food in the microwave, will you? Let's relax a while. It's been a long day.
I lost it and let out all my bottled-up frustrations. I went on about how I was sick and tired of being treated like a maid and a whore. I'd helped with his kids, cleaned his house, provided companionship and intimacy, but Laura remained his greatest love and that ridiculous party. Dead people don't have birthdays. I screamed. Tony stared at me in disbelief and lashed out.
How can you be so self-centered? You're making this all about you.
I felt overwhelmed. I said I didn't have to clean up the party mess, I could have stayed home. Maybe I caused my own problems and unfairly blamed him. I'm tired of my needs not being met and being second to someone I don't even know or care about. I feel like my feelings are being minimized. How do I deal with this and let him know what he needs to do? My boyfriend invited me to his dead wife's birthday party. After the birthday party straight from hell, I ended things with my boyfriend. It was a relatively quick exchange. I was letting him treat me this way for too long, and was putting up with so much disrespect in our relationship. This was indeed my own fault for not recognizing his delusional behavior earlier and giving him a pass because he lost someone who was significant to him once upon a time. But she's dead now and I am not. Being in a relationship with a widower is difficult enough, but having the widower be a torchbearer for their late spouse makes it that much more awful for the new person in their life. I calculated my words carefully and told him, "You have a right to hang on to the memory of your late wife forever if that's what you want. However, I am also entitled to do what makes me happy. I feel like a poor second, an afterthought. You will be better off finding someone who can live in your late wife's shadow and I, with a man who can fully commit to me exclusively." He told me that I was effed up for saying such a thing.
If that's what you believe, maybe we are better off parting ways. Stop trying to replace Laura because you are too self-centered to realize what you are asking. I know what you are doing.
Whatever, good luck. I hope your memories keep you warm at night, because I won't be there any longer to warm your bed. Give your kids my best. I felt relieved. It feels like I sort of restored my sense of self. I no longer have to compete with someone who is just a memory.